Hi guys, Virginia here and I'm back with another design team layout for the Kitaholic Kits using the gorgeous November kits. So what I'm showing you here is this is one of this month's exclusive cut files, and we've got some layerable butterflies. So they come with this pretty little fancy outline, and then they've got just a plain shape of the butterfly. So what I've done is printed 5 sets of them and used the outline one and cut it out of a few of the pattern papers, and then the fancy detailed one I've just cut from white cardstock. The photos of Edison, one of her first days at kindy, and so this layout's all about her growing up, and yeah. Okay, so I just kind of flicked through the 12 by 12 pattern papers for this month, and we've got a lot of Cocoa Vanilla Midnight collection in this, and I settled on this pattern paper. It's got kind of like a watercolorish style border with some little kind of floral detail, and I love that the centre was all white, and this gave me an idea that I could kind of fill in the centre area with these butterflies and a lot of the florals and stuff. I apologise if you heard that beeping. My phone's going off. And a whole lot of racket outside as well, if you can hear the dogs barking. But yeah, so where was I going with this? Not really anywhere. I wasn't quite sure what I was going with the layout or what I wanted to do with the butterflies. I did think maybe a circular design, but I do that quite often. So yeah, what I thought I would do is just start with the basics, and that's map my photo. So I've just chosen that dark blue pattern paper as my first layer. I like that because it gives a really good pop behind the photo, and then I've popped some adhesive foam squares and then laid it on that pink and white striped pattern paper, and so that gives a little space for me to tuck things in between the photo layers really easily. I don't end up actually tucking a ton in there, but that's okay. It adds a bit of dimension and stuff as well. So I'm going through the die cuts and the chipboard pieces and pulling out bits that I could possibly use. I've got a really large pile there, and I actually do a good job of using most of them. So yeah. So for the butterflies, I haven't glued them together. All I've done is just taken them over to my sewing machine and just done a straight stitch through the centre of them to basically stick them together. And I've used gold thread just to add a really nice little sparkly detail through the centre of them. Now, because I didn't do backwards and forwards stitching on them, and to stop my stitching unravelling over time, not that I think it really would, but just in case, I'm just popping a little bit of washi tape on the back side of it, so that will kind of hold things in place. So now I can get to kind of forming my layout or the design of the page. So I've got these butterflies, and they are quite large, so I'm going to just fluff up that top layer of the butterfly, and this adds a bit of dimension. And I'm just going to place them on the page. See, I'm not quite sure what I want to do with them. I like the idea of going straight up and having like a left hand design to the page, left justified, but I end up doing a kind of a curve with them, and I actually really like that. And I thought, well, I could probably just fill in the rest of the gaps and connect it all with those florals and hearts and all those other bits and pieces. So that's where my head's at now. So I'm just pulling pieces. They're like the idea of, there was some stuff on the kitchen bench behind her in the photo that I didn't like a yellow banana. So I've just popped that little heart and a butterfly on that top corner of the photo, and that kind of covers that spot. Now I'm adding a few little tabs. I've got a die cut one and a chipboard one just tucked behind it. I really like this piece that said Shine Bright, but it was a bit odd, and I couldn't find a place to put it where it felt like it sat properly because of the bow on top. Yeah, a few banners under the photo, but I decided it's getting too heavy under there, and I quickly take them off. I don't want to put too much around the photos because I want the focus to be on the photo, but the main design to go in that kind of vertical curve through the centre of the page. Okay, so I'm just adding my die cut florals first, and then I'm going to pull off the ones on the sticker sheet. There's only one on there, I think, left. So I'm going to pop that down. So I'm doing my non-dimensional pieces first, and now I'm working on my chipboard elements. Just tucking those large flower pieces in and around the place, getting a good dispersal of flowers and leaves, and so that everything, like I said before, is connected on the page. Okay, so just continuing working, I'm adding my die cuts now. So I'm starting with my die cut pieces, or my heart, sorry, and then I will add in chipboard pieces around the page, excuse me. And just kind of filling in those little empty spots now on the layout. Going to bring in some little sticker hearts. Little blue one to the left. Pink one there. And now I can work on some little sentiments. So I'm going to add a few of them because I've got that one kind of in the centre of the page. It says wonderful, and I've layered it with a little pink label, so I wanted to add some more, and they help to fill in the empty spaces as well on the page. Now I did show you before, I fussy cut a few of those little florals off one of the 12 by 12 pattern papers, and they are gorgeous, and they were the perfect kind of addition to fill in those little voids and to add more pops of colour amongst that giant cluster. So just kind of stacking them around the place. They kind of feel like enamel dots to me because they're so little, and they were easy to fussy cut out. So here I am, happy as. I'm going to glue it all down. Okay, so I don't want to move it, so I'm just going to start my way from the top and work my way down. I'm just squeezing a bit of glue under everything and just working my way down. A few pieces I do add some adhesive foam behind them, but for the most part everything's just kind of glued down, just fluffing up those feathers, wings. Just continuing with the glue, making sure that everything has a good amount of glue behind it. So this was a really quick layout. I found that all of the layouts I've done with this kit this month have been super quick. It's just been an absolute dream to work with this kit. It's so beautiful, so inspiring to work with. The colours are lovely, and yeah, I've had a lot of fun. I think altogether it probably took me about 45-50 minutes to make this layout, and that's not long for me. That's a really quick process, so start to finish that's pretty darn good. Okay, so just gluing everything down, fluffing up those feathers, bit of glue behind this label, which is why I've kept in all of the gluing. If I didn't, my video would be rather short. But I suppose you get to see my full process, so that's always a good thing, isn't it? So again, just gluing behind those pieces, working on my larger pieces first, and then adding glue behind the smaller pieces, a little bit of adhesive foam behind those smaller florals. And lastly, just finish off the end with a little foam under that flower. Okay, so I'm going to quickly glue down my photo cluster. So I just popped a little bit of glue behind that foam frame, and I'm going to just pop a little bit of glue in between each of these layers that I've popped labels and tabs in, and tuck them back in place. Put glue behind my entire photo and tuck it back in place. This little heart piece I can pop back up there, and my little chipboard tab I can tuck back in those little layers. And a little foam behind the little floral cluster. Okay, so I did contemplate using one of the flare. I struggle with flare. That's probably one of my downfalls. For some reason I can't seem to ever make them work, but I've still got a lot of this kit left, so I'm sure I will use them at some point. I think probably if I used more than one on a page, they may be a bit more visually appealing to me on the page, but there wasn't really enough room. Okay, so I had a couple of sticker butterflies, so I've just popped them on some white cardstock and fussy cut them out, and I'm going to add them. I'm just bent up their wings, and I'm going to add them onto the layer as well. Excuse me. Just a little bit of glue down the centre, and I've got Scotch tacky glue in my fine line bottle, if you're wondering. It's a great glue. It sticks pretty quickly, which is good for things like this. Okay, I'm going to add a few little tiny word stickers off the sticker sheet, just to kind of fill in the void. And there were a lot of little sentiments that were perfect for this story, which I love. So we've got like be yourself, you do you. She's going off into the big wide world now. and lots of other little pieces. We've got bloom, and shine. I'm just tucking up the top here, and there we go. So I completely forgot about my title, and I've wanted to use this Bloom and Grow sticker bit, so this is the perfect layout for it. So I'm just going to tuck the bloom on top of the photo, and then the end and grow just underneath it, so it's a bit like dimensional in places, but I quite like that. It was a perfect spot for it. And I wanted to bring in a little bit more gold, so I'm going to use some of those gold hearts, the Lucky Dip gold hearts that came in one of the kits, and I'm just going to pop them on some white cardstock. And I've got a little butterfly punch there. I'm just going to punch some little gold butterflies out with. So I'm going to do 5 of them. So there we go, they're all punched out. And I'm going to do the same as I did with the other butterflies. I'm just going to bend them in the centre, pop a little bit of glue down the centre, and then adhere them to the layout. But I'm going to kind of try to tuck them in so that they're not so in your face. It's a very bright gold, these stickers, so some of them are kind of placed strategically where they give enough of a pop of gold. Okay, so I'm just going to add my last one up right at the top. And I think lastly I'm just going to do a few splatters of some gold Liquitex acrylic ink, just to bring a little bit more and a little bit of whimsy to the layout. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the process, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.